All right, guys, let's do this. What up? It's JoJo on the radio. This is the iHeartRadio Countdown, and I'm pumped to finally meet one-fourth of Glass Animals. Dave, first of all, Dave, nice to meet you. Where are you at? I'm looking at you on your Zoom cam here.
Hello.
Hey, where are you at? What is this crazy-looking studio?
Where am I? This is London. It's just my studio, East London. It's really grey outside, but I have some palm trees in here to kind of, I don't know, to make it feel like it's not grey East London.
Looking very nice. And the other three lads of the group, where did they just not show up, or did you kick them out of the band, or is there anything?
They don't show up. Yeah, they don't show up very often. I actually genuinely know for a fact they all just went shopping this morning.
All right, yeah. Goodness. Dave, before we focus this whole thing on you, because it's all about you today, Dave. Give me all the members of Glass Animals. You just kind of give me some names, and how did you guys, meet? The most boring question ever, but how did you guys get together?
It is quite a boring question. Well, we've known each other for so long now, since we were little kids. We all met at school, so we've known each other for like nearly 20 years. That's incredible. It feels so weird to say that. Yeah, I know Drew and Ed have a particularly strange story about how they met. I think Ed looked under a toilet stall when he was really young for some reason. I don't know why. And that's where he first encountered Drew, our guitar player. Ed's our bass player. He's like tall and quite lanky and looks a bit like a meerkat, I guess. And Joe is the drummer and Drew is the guitar player, and they're all my best friends from school.
So that's a wild way to meet. So he just decided to look like, was he trying to find him, or just checking if the stall was empty? I mean, maybe that's something you can't answer, but that's an odd way to meet someone.
Yeah, you'd have to ask him. I don't know. I'm not even sure he knows. I think we were the kind of like strange kid. They called us the indie music kids at school. We were like, went to concerts and stuff, and yeah, I shouldn't be saying this in case my mum's listening, but we snuck out. We used to sneak out and go to concerts and stuff, and we were, yeah.
Dave, what I know you got the album Dreamland came out August 2020, I believe. Obviously, Heat Waves is crazy. What else? Because people are going to ask me, obviously. What else are you guys working on? You seem to me right now, if I had to guess, you guys live in the studio. You're always writing something. Unless I
live in the studio. I'm always doing something. Music. What have I been? I've got this Pez dispenser here with my head on it that someone is making for us. We're working on a couple We're doing some food. We're going to come out with some food, a certain type of special food. I can't say what it is, but that's on the cards. What else? We've got some new music coming. It's like pretty soon. Some remixes and stuff. Yeah, it's so much happening. It's been busy.
Speaking of the food thing, I've got a question. Don't answer now, but I've got a question later on that has to do with, I think it's pineapples. So we'll get to that. So, there's something. Yeah, one of those things. Dave, true or false, you were in medical school and you quit after Adele's manager saw you guys perform, then he signed you to his label. What is that story, if in fact it is true?
True. It's a true story. I saw the name of this particular person on the guest list for, I think it was our first ever show in London. We'd done one show in our home city before that, and I was like, it can't be this person. It's a pretty common name. It's not going to be this person. It was that person. I saw them in the crowd. I was nervous, and as I walked on stage to our first London show, room full of people buzzing, I tripped on a microphone cable and fell flat on my face in front of everybody, including this particular gentleman. But you know what? It broke the ice. It was only going to get better from that moment. I stood up with my bloody nose, and that was it. I laughed. Everyone laughed. It was just a good atmosphere from there.
Probably the greatest show you ever did, bloody nose included.
Oh yeah, it was. It was great. It's a great way to break that. I recommend that to any band starting out, any artist starting out. That's a great way to start your show.
My next question was, have you ever made a noticeable on-stage mistake? But that might have just answered.
Oh, there you go.
I love psycho fan encounters. I'm not saying all your fans are psycho. They're beautiful, wonderful, lovely.
Oh, they're lovely.
But every now and then, some people, they get a little extra. If you have one of those stories, I'd love to hear it.
Our fans are absolutely incredible. They're so generous and so kind. We've gotten so many amazing presents and people like making amazing costumes and outfits. Someone made us a cake once. I don't know. It's not a psycho story, but the cake was, no offense as fan, it was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. Usually the baked goods that come from our fans are absolutely delicious. So I went in with high hopes. I cut myself a really nice big piece, put it in my mouth, and I felt sick.
There's an unwritten rule that, and once again, most of your fans are wonderful people, but if somebody gives you food that you don't know, you're not supposed to eat it because, what if?
That is.
So you broke the rule, but do you think they were trying to poison you, or it was just a really bad?
That's literally like rule number 1, isn't it?
I think it is rule 1.
That's what your parents tell you when you're a child. Religiously, relentlessly, don't accept food from strangers. And I do, but I can't resist cake. I love cake. Cake and cereal are my 2 absolute weaknesses.
All right. Now I got to know, what's your favorite cereal?
Well, okay. This is where it gets complicated. I actually have a TV show called Cereal Bars where a musical friend of mine comes on the show. I send them a really obscure bowl of, like, I don't know, some kind of Christmas Captain Crunch, some kind of crazy cereal. We taste it, we rate it out of 10, and then I make them a beat and they do some lines over it. It's fun. It's 50 minutes quick. But I've tried them all. And honestly, I go back to the basics. I go back to Cheerios. It sounds so boring.
There ain't nothing wrong with Cheerios, Dave. You own it.
Simple.
Man. I know that the COVID world, which we've all been, it's such a bizarre time we've been through. But things are lightening up, at least in the States they are. I assume the same thing in London. So I assume you got at least tour talks happening, maybe some dates said. What do you have along those lines for Glass Animals?
It's just been announced, We just announced the dates. Give you some details. I think the details are we're basically trying to get everywhere on Earth. It's a big tour, but we're going everywhere in North America. It's going to be amazing. It's my favorite place to tour in the world.
How much do you miss?
Beautiful.
How much do you miss live shows with live fans?
So much. Yeah, there's something. We did a kind of internet streaming show. And it was great. It was great fun. But there's nothing like just have it. It's that like everyone being on the same wavelength, kind of losing their sense of self, going crazy. Someone spills beer on you. Someone kicks you in the face as they crowd surf over your head. You can't quite recreate that in your living room. So it's going to be great to have it all back.
Agree. We've had our fair share of virtual shows and whatnot, and and they've been fun. But man, to be honest, I'm kind of sick of them. I'm ready for liveness. That's not even a word, I don't think. All right,
Same.
Dave
I
from
want
Glass
that
Animals.
beer spilled on my head.
Yeah, something fall on your face, bust your nose like you did. Let's get back to crazy. True or false? When you were writing Heat Waves, there's a story about you thought you were the only one in this particular studio or room where you're like writing, focused, and you thought like, I'm the only one in here. And then, according to the story, you look over and Johnny Depp is hanging out.
There was someone else in the room. Yeah, it is a true story. Yeah, at first I thought I was seeing a ghost. I thought I was seeing something that wasn't there. I thought I was dreaming. It was late, studio complex, and I thought everyone else had gone home, basically. Nice quiet evening. I was listening to Heat Waves very loud when I thought I'd finished it. Song ended, heard someone playing the piano behind me, and there they were.
It was Johnny Depp.
It was, yeah. And exchanged a few stories, and then as quickly as he must have snuck into the room, he left.
What kind of stuff did you talk about with Johnny Depp? Any Pirates of the Caribbean or any kind of just
all sorts of things. Some things I can't say on radio. He told me about some, like how he came up with some of the accents for some of his films. It was amazing. It was amazing to hear all of that.
And final question on Johnny Depp: what did he think of Heat Waves? Did he? I assume he liked it. He heard it probably 1,000 times.
I don't think he was that fussed about it, to be honest. He didn't ask to hear it again. The song ended. He looked reasonably pleased when it was over.
Fair enough. Heat Waves, Dave. Yeah. Let's play this track. This thing, it came out of nowhere. It's just such a unique kind of vibe, and it's just been killing. I mean, what can you say about this track that maybe you haven't said before, which I'm sure you've said plenty? What do you want to say about Heat Waves?
Oh, I can tell you that I haven't actually told anybody before is halfway through shooting the music video, which we made like peak lockdown. My neighbors filmed it. I walked down the street outside my house. That's the kind of start of the video, and my neighbors were leaning out their windows, filming with their phones. But what you can't see is that just before we started filming, my glasses exploded, and the lens fell out. And I used tape and cable ties to hold. If you look really closely in the music video, I don't think anyone's clocked it yet.
No
There's
kidding.
a bunch of cable ties and tape holding my very Harry Potter style makeshift glasses.
And why did your glasses? I don't know why I need to know this, but they just shot out of your what happened? Or
I
maybe
have
that's a big mystery.
absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. Yeah, it just happened, and luckily someone had a cable tie to hand.
Luckily,
I was
all right.
very lucky.
Two-part question, Dave. What is the biggest crowd you've ever performed for? And then the complete flip of that in so many ways.
Whoa.
Have you ever been booed?
Oh, wow. You know what? I think we've been lucky enough to have not been booed thus far in our careers. I thought we were going to once the sound system shut off. We have a lot of bass at our shows, and I think something happened. It rattled something loose, it exploded, and sound system went down. I thought we were going to get booed. And then people just kept singing the song. It was amazing. Biggest crowd. Headline show or festival? What are we talking here?
If people are in the crowd, it counts.
It counts, guys. I think Lollapalooza 2017. We were playing before. We were playing before one of the Beatles, Paul McCartney, and that was just. I've never seen so many people in my life. It's in the park in the middle of Chicago, buildings on either side of you, and then someone said nearly 100,000 people. I was scared. I was genuinely very nervous.
Is that a rush that you can't recreate any other way? I mean, that many people focused on you, basically. I mean, maybe it's scary to a degree, but it's got to be such a rush, right?
It's quite straight. You can't really think up firstly when it's that many people. It just looks like it doesn't really look. It kind of almost dehumanizes everybody. It's just a sea of heads. You don't even recognize them as people. It's really strange. So you kind of lose all the fear immediately. But yeah, I know. I often turn to our drummer and just like in the middle of the show, I'll put my mic away from my mouth and be like, what is going on? This is, have you seen how many people are out there? This is so weird. How did we get here?
That's madness, man.
It's definitely a rush. It's a rush after the show.
I should have asked this earlier, but why the name Glass Animals? How'd you guys, what does that all mean? And then I have a follow-up, which it's probably my most favorite question ever, but yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, it's not a particularly interesting story. My grandma used to collect little glass animals.
Oh.
When I was growing up, and she used to keep them in this little case. Yeah, weird thing to collect, but she collected them, and it stuck with me.
Okay, now rejected band names. I'm sure that you guys probably sat around and just came up with these crazy. Yeah. Give me one of those epic gems.
No, I can't. It's just a point blank no. I'm sorry. They were so embarrassing and so bad that I just simply can't tell you. I know that deep in the depths of Reddit, people have discovered them, but I am not giving that information away myself.
Really? How would they? Well, Reddit has their ways, I guess, but yeah.
There was one interview a long time ago, and Drew, our guitar player, let it slip, and I'll never forgive him. Yeah, wow. That's the real reason he's not here.
You know what? Because he's dead. All right. You don't know this about me, although we chatted briefly before the countdown, but I am obsessed with the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, everything in between. I've got a podcast called Paranormalish. Look out, you might end up on there. What is you've had a paranormal encounter, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what paranormal exactly extends to in its definition, but I'm gonna say I've had a couple of paranormal encounters in my life.
Give me one that really, I guess, rocked you, or it at least sticks in your head.
Have you? Maybe it's only me that's ever done this, but have you ever tried to move something with your mind?
I've tried, didn't move, but
See, once I looked at a cup so hard once that it fell over.
Say what?
Yeah, for real. I can't explain it other than I used my mind to tip over the cup. But I was like, I don't know. I was bored. I was meant to be studying for a test at school, and I was bored. And I was like, gosh, I bet I could move that cup with my mind if I look at it hard enough. And
I'm waiting for the punchline. Is there a punchline here? Or
that's
really...
it. No. That's it. I moved the cup with my brain.
You stared at it with intent to move it. Didn't touch it. Nobody touched it. Nothing moved except for the cup with your mind.
The cup moved. Yeah. I promise.
Wow. Okay, that is. I don't know what else to. I've never. Wow. Have you? Clearly you've tried it since. Has anything else?
I have unsuccessfully. Yeah. Every once in a while, I'm like, it was real. Like I try to stare at a cup, and someone will be like, "Why are you staring at that cup?" And I'll be like, I promise you, I moved a cup once. And then they act exactly like you, and they laugh and walk away. But I promise.
I believe you. Dave, you're talking to the one guy I've heard so many wild stories. I believe you. I'm just so floored. One of these days when we get together, we're going to put a cup like in between us, and I bet
everyone listening is doing it right now. They're staring at a cup.
Everybody should. Wow. I'm floored, Dave. I'll leave it at that. All right.
You're going to go stare at a cup now.
I'm going to find me a cup for real. Dave, to my understanding, you guys are responsible for a rise in pineapple interest. Festivals, venues, they had to, because of this pineapple thing or whatever it is, they had to ban pineapples at some of your shows. That sounds crazier than the moving the cup with your mind story. What is this all about?
Yeah, we've had serious issues with pineapples. It's a pandemic that we experienced prior to this one, where pineapples were just coming to our shows. We have a song about and it has the word pineapples in, and I didn't have the foresight to see that this would spiral into the mess that it then turned into. Basically, someone brought one pineapple to one show once, and I picked it up and put it on a guitar amp on stage. Since that moment, people bring pineapples to the show in their hundreds, thousands, inflatable, real, everything. And pineapples are healthy, delicious, but I will say they're dangerous. And we've had a few accidents now. They've been banned from many shows and festivals, and quite often you see a bin full of pineapples outside of our shows, and we take them to the food shelter afterwards.
No kid. Now, what about you mentioned earlier that you're working on some sort of a collab with food. Is that a tie with pineapples, or is it something else totally unrelated?
Actually, I don't know if anyone's listened to our music before outside of Heat Waves, which you just heard, but food makes appearances. I love food. I think food, what you eat, says a lot about you. So I talk about food quite a lot. I think I'm just a hungry person. And there's other foods name-checked. This is actually a different food that's been name-checked in a song.
This is a question about your bandmate, Drew. What is the story? And if he were here, I would ask him about him. He got arrested for climbing on a road sign naked in Milwaukee.
You have done your research. You've looked through our criminal records. You've gone really deep, man. I'm impressed.
I thank
How
you very much.
How did you know that? That's incredible. Yeah, he was. He didn't tell us that he was arrested, but he was arrested. He told us after the tour ended that he spent a night in jail. He sent our tour manager a very sneaky message saying he'll meet us in the next city, and we didn't really understand what was happening. It turned out he'd spent the night. He, for some reason, took his clothes off and climbed over a highway, those big signs that you get, and was just perched on top. And that's really the end of the story. He got picked up by the police, of course.
We need to have a sit down with Drew to make sure that that doesn't happen again. I think
he's not allowed to speak to anybody anymore. It's like it's done.
Good move, Dave. All right, your training, you neuroscience. You took classes in neuroscience. You're a very intelligent guy, but specifically the neuroscience classes, that helps you write lyrics, to my understanding. I believe you stated that once. How does that translate to lyrics?
All of our lyrics are completely anatomically correct. I don't know. No, I don't know. What?
I don't know either.
Is that true? I don't know if it. I've definitely written about people that I used to work in I wanted to be a psychiatrist. I worked in psychiatric hospitals, and it's really interesting trying to see the world through other people's eyes. It's very difficult, and that's what I spend most of my life doing. And I think I kind of adapted that for some of our songs. So I've written stories about people, not those people specifically that I met in the hospitals, but yeah, just trying to see the world through other people's eyes that we met while we were on tour, even friends. And I like writing from other people's perspectives a lot of the time.
Dave from Glass Animals is hanging out. Quick recap: Heat Waves obviously is out. Get on this. They put out an album, Dreamland, last year, August 2020. Of course, new music coming soon. Pineapples are banned at their shows. What am I forgetting to ask you, Dave?
Moved a cup with my mind.
Moved a cup with. I find that you need to jump on my podcast and go in depth on that, or maybe that's as in depth as it is, because
there's no depth to it. That it happened. It's a fact, and I don't know what else to say about it really.
I have a question to ask you about me, Dave. I just found out I did one of those DNA tests a couple of months back, and I found out that I am just about all British.
No
in my
way.
DNA, yes, primarily.
I was gonna say my radar was going off. I could hear it.
I have no accent, but what do I need to know now that I am? And I'm not even kidding. What should I know? Being British, not British, having an accent.
You need to drink tea, eat Marmite, and that's about it.
Drink tea. The tea thing I have down. Marmite, I have no clue. What is that?
Marmite. I actually, as a British person, think it's. I also am secretly not British. I put on this accent. No, I don't put on this accent. I came to England when I was about 12, but I'm secretly from Texas. I grew up in Texas. You wouldn't know it from the accent. Yes.
Okay, I am originally from Texas.
Oh, yeah. Where are you from?
Near Houston.
Near Houston. I'm from... See, that was quite a good British accent almost. Houston. You said it very properly. That was very proper. I'm from a place called Bryan, near College Station, Texas.
My sister went to A&M.
Texas A&M. There you go. That's where I spent my childhood.
Maybe we're related. There we go. Hey, Dave, it's a real.
I thought I felt it.
My cousin. Jesus. Hey, Dave, it's a real pleasure to meet you. Can't wait to see you in person someday. Thank you for your time.
Very soon. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. At the end of every countdown, fist bump to make it official. Tap that cam, Dave. Boom.
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Boom.